Okay, so we have studied already 10 different reasons why leaders don't prosper, or things that cause them to be stunted in their growth. Reason number one was unclear purpose. Reason number two, unclear goals. Reason number three, incorrect belief systems, unrenewed minds. Reason number four, unrealistic demands and desires. Reason number five, spreading yourself too thin. Reason number six, refusing to continue to educate yourself. Reason number seven, ignorance regarding the power of the company that you keep. Reason number eight, inability to change and adjust your daily disciplines. Reason number nine, being ungrateful for what you currently possess. Reason number 10, not knowing how to handle criticism. And that's vital. And today we'll study the 11th reason, and that is that many do not create a personal environment conducive to winning. Vital. This is so important. Creating a personal environment that is conducive to maximizing your creativity is pivotal for continued ongoing success and achievement. Many people forget this step. Either they don't know it, or they simply neglect the responsibility to provide a creative and effective atmosphere for themselves. You notice that in all of creation. Creation has all kinds of creatures needing distinct types of atmospheres to exist and thrive. Take a fish, for example. If you take a fish out of their environment, which is the sea, the river, and you suddenly notice, throw it on the floor, it'll quickly begin to flip-flop on the floor. It's searching for its environment. It's searching for liquid oxygen in order to survive and to live. Dry oxygen, which is the kind of oxygen that the humans need, is not enough. These fish, not finding the type of oxygen that they need, will immediately begin to die. But if you throw it back into the sea, it'll suddenly swim away at high speed. You literally see the fish become agile once again and quick and be very able in that environment. They even communicate in this environment, and they live in beautiful and exotic communities. Fish also have families that they provide for. Yet, for other species, a fish's atmosphere is actually toxic and deadly. For example, a human, we can actually go to a fish's environment and spend some time there. But nevertheless, special equipment, which in many cases is cumbersome, heavy, uncomfortable, is required in order to survive underwater for a longer period of time. Remarkably, there are some people who cannot enter into that world without having a panic attack. I remember a friend of mine attempted to go scuba diving once, and when they entered the water with her, my friend immediately went into a panic mode and started drowning. The boat crew had to stop. They had to immediately take my friend out of that intimidating atmosphere. The fish in the surrounding area must have said, "What in the world is all this commotion?" They must have said to themselves, "How come humans are so afraid of our fabulous and easygoing atmosphere?" I might be exaggerating a little about that, but I think you get the point. I believe to a great extent that our success in life, business, and ministry largely depends upon being in the proper environment. There are environments that are toxic to our creativity and well-being. Some environments are dangerous to our health. Some are dangerous to our lives, and some can suck the desire and creativity right out of us. An environment that may seem normal to some can be deadly to others. For example, a coal miner who worked in the coal mining industry died of lung disease at a much earlier age than he would have if he would have been working in a farm. The mine shafts were toxic to a human being's health. A race car driver also is at a much greater risk of dying in a car accident than a typical civilian who uses a car to go shopping every week. Similarly, there are people who live with no hope of ever achieving anything significant due to the environment that they continuously subject themselves to. What can cause this type of toxic environment? Well, let's look at a couple of things that may have helped to cultivate this type of harmful environment. We have circumstances in your past that could greatly affect you. Your circumstances can be toxic to you. Past interactions with your family is another example. You might have had issues with your family that have caused your mind to think less of you. What about past unachieved successes? That's another thing. Some people fail at something and they think it makes them a failure. No, just that specific thing didn't work. But in reality, you could be a success. Actually, all great successes fail a lot on their way to success. But they don't let the one momentary failure stop them. What they do is they learn from it and keep on moving. They keep on going. And the other thing is past mistakes, which is really pretty similar. We make mistakes. Some of us get afraid and maybe we're prideful. We don't want to fail in front of people. We don't want people to see us making mistakes. That's not wisdom. All great successes today have made many mistakes in the past. And the difference between them and somebody that allows mistakes to stop them is the fact that they push on past the mistake. They learn from the mistake and then they grow from it. Another thing, it could be circumstances beyond your control. Listen, we can't control everything that happens to us or around us. All we can do is react in a way that will allow us to push forward beyond these circumstances and go on to our success. Also, our current job in business might be hindering us or limiting us. We might hate our jobs. We might be going to our jobs every day and be totally stressed out. It might be time to reconsider what type of job or business that you work at. I'm not saying to just walk away from it, but maybe start studying something new while you're still working there and use the salary that you have now to help you study and prepare and invest in your better future. And the other thing are your daily habits. Many times it's simply our habits that are causing us to limit our own future. We have bad habits that are not helping us. One time, Jim Rohn taught this. He said that there are only half a dozen things, maybe 6 to 7 to 8 things that we do every day that either help us to succeed or fail. For most people, there are several daily, quote unquote, little habits that over a period of time have been unknowingly cultivated and nurtured. These habits have guaranteed that they will always be out of shape, poor, average, sickly, or passed over for promotions. This list can very easily go on and on. See, if you find yourself arriving late to places, for example, this is a visible sign that you've cultivated and nurtured a bad habit. You're either going to bed very late at night, which causes you to get up late, or you're not giving yourself enough time to get to places. It's as simple as that. And as a result, you don't take responsibility for your actions. And instead, you're blaming the train, the bus, the traffic jam, your spouse, the kids. But in truth, the problem is hitting you in your face. You have a bad habit and you're in denial. And what's even worse, you refuse to correct the problem. So be determined to go to bed earlier and get up earlier. Plan your day and evening before so that you can leave your home earlier. And if you change your bad habits, you will get to places on time. Incidentally, I noticed that when I arrive earlier than I need to, I'm not stressed. I get more relaxed to the place. I'm able to conduct business in a greater way. My creativity is in full swing. When I give myself sufficient time, it's better for me. There'll always be factors beyond our control that can cause us to fall behind our schedules. So if you don't give yourself additional time, you're subjecting yourself to harmful and preventable stress. So successful leaders have learned that their success depends on the environment around them. Therefore, they're very careful as to how to cultivate their environment. So then let me give you some things that successful leaders do on purpose. Number one, they prepare a comfortable, effective office environment. This is really, really important. They make sure that they have the proper reading materials, study materials, research materials. Their office is organized and efficient. You can get a lot more things done, believe me, when you know where everything is. Their filing systems are up to date. Their business and personal documents are in order, up to date, and easily retrievable. And for example, your IRS documents, your birth certificates, your social security cards, etc. The second thing is they hire competent professionals. These professionals give them advice with their personal and professional business. Most mistakes are made actually when one does not get help from competent professionals. The third thing they do is they're selective with the people with whom they surround themselves with. They're very careful with whom they interact. They are selective with their friends, their business associates, and partners. The people they spend time with can help to make them very successful, and they know that. So they seek them out like they would gold or silver. Your friends can take you high or bring you very low. So make sure you're very selective as to the people that you surround yourself with, the people that speak into your life, the people that take you higher. The fourth thing is that they take responsibility for their daily habits and actions. If they identify a bad habit, they immediately go to work on changing that habit. They desire to change their unhealthy behaviors or habits in order to achieve the long-term benefits of championship habits. See, it's really up to us. It's not to anybody else. Nobody else can change our habits. We're the ones that have to identify any bad habits or self-limiting habits, and we're the ones that have to go to work on it and make sure we change them. And number five, they consistently use a growing library of resources to better themselves and to change their habits. They continuously read and listen to and study cutting-edge leadership books, the sacred scriptures, motivational tapes, CDs. They go to encouraging and educational conferences and seminars. They're continuously studying the masters in their chosen field of employment. They refuse to waste their time watching 4 to 6 hours of TV every day. While some people are watching TV, the other ones are becoming actors and they're becoming professional actors and making millions. And we're sitting down watching them 4 to 8 hours a day and they're making millions off of us. I mean, that doesn't sound right, but yet that's exactly what we do. See, these prosperous leaders, they're always using their valuable time to build their own success and personal wealth. This wealth includes spending more time with their spouses, their children, reading biographies of successful men and women, taking pertinent courses that'll help them to get to the top of their field. And this is important because the things you do, the things that you think about most during the day will determine your actions, and your actions will determine the level of your success. See, so that's vital. If you continuously infuse your thinking with ideas and concepts that stimulate your creativity, it will directly impact your actions and responses. You'll be able to create a continuous cycle of successes and worthwhile accomplishments. This done over a period of time will give you incredible rewards. Joshua 1:8 in the New Living Translation, it says this: study this book of the law continuously. Meditate on it day and night so that you may be sure to obey all that is written in it. Only then will you succeed. Notice what it said. In order for us to continuously succeed, we have to continually meditate day and night on that which we need to prosper in. God's the one that created us. He's the one that made our minds. So he understands. Nobody can just pray wisdom into you. You have to study wisdom. You have to meditate on wisdom. You have to look at other examples and circumstances and learn from them. You have to learn from mentors and teachers. If that were not true, why did God give gifts to the church? Gifts called apostles, prophets, evangelists, pastors, and teachers. See, God uses teachers to impart wisdom and understanding over to you. And some of your teachers don't have to be physical teachers right in front of you in a classroom. It could be a good book. It could be a seminar. It could be a conference that you go to. But notice what the word says. You have to continuously meditate on that which you want to prosper in. We need to meditate in God's word because God's word has principles of prosperity, principles of living righteously, and principles of success. And he says when you meditate on it day and night, so it's every day that you have to do this. This is a habit that we have to cultivate. We have to stop making excuses and do what we need to do to break out of bad habits, break out of laziness, and get into diligence, a daily diligence. The sixth thing they do is that they make it a point to take some time to rest. They take time off to go on vacations or even staycations that help them to rest and be restored from the continual state of quote-unquote busyness that our generation lives in. This is also critical because the more tired and weary you are, the less creative and productive you will be. I'm amazed at how taking a weekend off every 2 to 3 months will help the creative juices flow. A time of rest fosters a healthy and productive environment around you. Moreover, God instructed the Israelites of old to rest one day out of the week. And part of that rest involved this, remembering God's goodness. See, that's important because when you can remember the good things in your life, you'll think less of the bad things. And God is telling us, remember my goodness. Rehearse a past victory, a past miracle that God did for you. And that will help you. It'll give you a strength. It'll uplift you. It'll encourage you. Another thing is when you're resting, consider all of the wonderful benefits and provision that already exist all around us. You see, we're so busy looking at this other thing that we want that we forget about what we already have. So when we're resting, we could look around and see the things that are already benefiting us, that are already there for us. Also, meditating on God's laws, which share principles that allow us to live a full and wonderful and joyful life here on earth. And the other thing, while we're resting, we should look at is sharing these principles with our family and with those that are close to us. A time of rest will continuously put you in a confident and joyful state of mind, and it'll allow your body and mind to rest and be strengthened for the coming week. When a person does not take time to get sufficient rest, the body slowly begins to break down. You may begin to experience alarming symptoms that, if left unchecked, can become a serious illness. I remember years ago, I was in my 20s, I managed a 475-unit residential complex in New York City. On the surface, let me tell you, it looked like I had arrived. It was downtown, it was a luxury building with many amenities. As part of my benefits package, my family and I moved into one of their premium apartments with sunroofs and a killer view. This beautiful apartment had 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, plus a gorgeous fireplace. Within a month's time, however, I realized that I was in for a continual state of pressure. Being so large a complex, there were always many emergencies happening 7 days a week. And even though I was off on Saturday and Sundays, I still had to work every weekend just to keep up with the workload. And since it was a luxury building, the residents had to be taken care of no matter what. So after about 6 months of working in this place, I noticed that I was beginning to have trouble sleeping at night. Then I started getting palpitations and chest pains, problems breathing. 2 months after, I ended up in the doctor. The doctors ran battery of tests on me. And after all was said and done, the doctor asked me if I was having trouble on the job. Was my job stressful? And I told him, yeah, it was a very stressful job. And this was the norm. It was not going to change. It was just a very big building and a lot of people and a lot of issues all the time. So the doctor's remedy, you ready for this one? It was for me to resign from that position and to find a less stressful job. He said that my condition was reversible. But if I continued in that environment, it would really make me very ill. So after meditating on that, even though it was a great position, a great locale, great apartment, spoke to my wife, and at the end of the day, we decided that even though the place was beautiful, it was necessary to leave that toxic environment for our long-term well-being. So within 3 months after I left the place, all the symptoms had disappeared and I was well once again. So after following the doctor's orders, I was fortunate to find a great job with similar pay and benefits without the stressful environment that I had experienced at that other building. It was my responsibility, it really was, to exchange that toxic environment to a more beneficial one. Had I ignored the symptoms and the instructions of the doctor, I could have gotten very ill. The bottom line is that I would not have been able to blame anybody but myself for any repercussions for refusing wisdom and counsel. So in closing, let's learn to create and cultivate an atmosphere conducive to winning, and it'll help us to press through to success levels that will greatly benefit those close to you, as well as humanity at large. So praise God. We've been through these 11 reasons why leaders are limited. Once again, let me read them to you. The first one, unclear purpose. Number 2, unclear goals. Number 3, incorrect belief system or philosophy of mind, or an unrenewed mind. Number 4, unrealistic demands and desires. Number 5, spreading yourself too thin. Number 6, refusing to continue to educate yourself. Number 7, ignoring the power of the company that you keep. Number 8, inability to change and adjust your daily disciplines. Number 9, being ungrateful for what you currently possess. Number 10, not knowing how to handle criticism. And the last one, number 11, they don't create a personal environment conducive to winning. I pray that these principles have been a blessing to you,
And I ask God to give you wisdom as to how to apply them into your life. I guarantee that if you apply these principles in your life, you will become that 3% of people that are constantly prospering, constantly advancing, constantly being promoted, because all over the world, they're looking for employees that are effective like this. All over the world, businesses are needed that literally walk in this level of success, continual commitment and success. So God bless you in this day. For any further information, please feel free to go to my website, www.victornazario.com. Have a wonderful and prosperous day.